magkasangga, magkakapi, sa hamon ng buhay, di ba magaling ito? Ako ang iyong kasamang kaibigan, sa ating kapamamayan. Magkasangga tayo, magkasangga, magkakapi, magkasangga, magkakapi.
Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Equilibrium Probiotics. Ito ay ang bagong food supplement na gawa sa mga piling gulay at prutas at dumaan sa isang masusing proseso para mapangalagaan ang inyong kalusugan. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay dinisenyo para sa kalusugan ng ating tiyan, tulungan ng pagkuha ng sapat na nutrisyon at ang pagpapalabas sa ating sistema ng mga nakakasirang toxins. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may iba't ibang disenyo at sangkap base sa inyong pangangailangan. Mula sa boost para sa mga bata, fortitude, gusto grape, miracle fruit, periwinkle, at ang pinakabago, liver pro. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may pagmamalaki ng produktong gawa sa Tarlac. Ito ay mabibili sa Dashen, Geta Road, San Sebastian, Phase 3, Binauganan, Tarlac City. At para sa mga malalayong lugar, bibilitin ang produkto ng Equilibrium Probiotics sa Lazada. Ito ay eksklusibong gawa ni Ginang Malu Reyes Nure. Ano pang hinihintay nyo, mga kasangga? Hala, bili na! MSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Hatid sa inyo ni Kuya Dong. Magandang umaga po sa kanilang lahat, magkasangga. Araw ng Martes, unang araw ng Agosto. Magandang umaga po sa kanilang lahat at makulimlim pa po sa labas, no? Pero hindi na po masyadong nag-uulan kagabi. Pero ganun pa man, yung mga papasok po ngayong araw na ito, kilos-kilos, baka kayo tanghaliin. Lalo na kung mamaya kaunti uulan na naman, ako po, mahirapan na naman tayo magbiyahe. Kaya mas maganda po, ngayon pa lang, na tayo, gumayak-gayak na. At meron po tayong mga maaga nag-join sa ating FB Live. Si Favorite Baker, Michelle Taya, good morning, Michelle. At si Admin, good morning, Admin Sol, good morning. At sa ating mga viewers sa TikTok, magandang umaga po sa kanila. Kayo po ay nanonood sa ating programang MSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga na maghahatid po sa inyo ng mga kaganapan sa loob at labas ng ating bansa. Ito po yung mga piling-piling mga updates mula sa Philippine Star. At maraming salamat po kay Kinta242 for joining me this morning in Instagram. Ito po yung, sana po, you make it a habit to watch the program. Ano po ito, mga updates po natin, mga balita. I'll be doing some news reading in a while. Before we start with our updates for today, please join me in a short prayer. Sa ngalan ng Ama at ng Anak ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. Mahal na aming lumikha, maraming salamat sa bagong araw na ipinagkaloob ninyo sa amin. Sa mapayapang gabing lumipas at sa patuloy na pagbuhos ng iyong mga biyaya sa amin at sa aming bayan. Naway ipagkaloob mo pa sa amin ang lakas at tibay ng loob upang mapaglabanan ang kasamaan at manatili po kami sa paggawa ng mabuti sa kapwa at sa pagsunod sa inyong itinurong tamang landas. Lahat ng gawain namin, inaalin namin sa iyo, anak na si Jesus, aming Panginoon. Amen. Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, Espiritu Santo. Amen. Good morning, Jaja. Salamat sa iyong pag-antabay ngayong umaga sa ating MSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Si Sister Jaja po, siya po yung proprietor ng isa sa ating mga major sponsors na Eden Vietnam. Please scan the QR code to see what Hidden Vietnam has to offer. Makikita po niyo yung kanilang FB page. At sa ating pagbabalita, good morning, Malu. Good morning. Thanks for joining and thanks for the stars. Si Sister Malu po, she is the owner and proprietor of the shed and she makes the Equilibrium Probiotics. Iyon po yung ating mga healthy probiotics. She is also a major sponsor of our MSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Please also scan her QR code, the probiotics QR code, to see what probiotics has to offer for your health. Here is a summary of our news for today. Marcos, government to fully back Palaro athletes development. Philippines, EU to strengthen maritime security ties. Senators drafting new resolution on Chinese intrusions in West Philippine Sea. UAE to set up anti-money laundering bodies amid scrutiny. LRT fares up starting August 2. EGA improves Angat's water level. Fire hits building partly occupied by Comelec. Filipina weightlifting prospect Rose G. Ramos sweeps Asian Youth Tip. To start off our top stories for today, Marcos government to fully back Palaro athletes development. Report by Helen Flores to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. President Marcos reiterated yesterday his administration's commitment to support the country's athletes, even as he encouraged young Filipinos to participate in sports to imbibe good values like discipline and resilience. I assure you that this government remains steadfast in developing the prowess of our young athletes and in championing their well-being, Marcos said in his speech during the opening of the 2023 Palarong Pambansa at the Marikina Sports Center. This administration believes in the transformative power of sports, not only in improving one's strength and agility, but also in building up character and discipline, he said. Marcos said the Palarong Pambansa, the country's largest youth sporting event, involving elementary and high school student athletes has produced famous Filipino athletes. These kinds of events, the palarong pambansa, palarong panlalawigan, are where famous Filipinos who are recognized not only here in the Philippines but the whole world are produced, the President said. I am certain many of our participants here one day will be watching in competition, international sports, Marcos said. He also urged the Department of Education and the local government units to continue encouraging the youth to participate in sports while where they would learn the values of discipline and resilience in the realization of their goals. Along with this, we will foster discipline, accountability, teamwork, all of which are crucial for personal, social, and professional growth, the President said. Among those who joined the President at the event were Vice President and Education Secretary Sara Duterte, Special Assistant to the President Anton Lagdameo, Marikina 1st District Rep Marjorie Ann Teodoro, and Marikina City Mayor Marcelino Teodoro. Spearheaded by the DepEd, the Palarong Pambansa is being held after a 3-year hiatus due to the COVID-19 pandemic with the theme Batang Malakas, Bansang Matatag. From July 29 to August 5, approximately 9,172 athletes, coaches, and officials from the country's 17 regions are competing in 34 disciplines that include games for the differently able. This year's sporting event also revives traditional games called the Larong Lahi, featuring kadang-kadang, tumbang preso, and patintero as exhibition events to preserve and promote the country's rich cultural heritage. Likewise, the para games, weightlifting, and obstacle course racing are listed as exhibition sports, while dance sports, pencak silat, and esports are included as demonstration sports. Moving on to our next top story. Philippines EU to strengthen maritime security ties. Report by Helen Flores to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. The European Union is ready to work with the Philippines to strengthen maritime security in the Indo-Pacific. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said yesterday as she reviewed the EU support for Manila's 2016 arbitral victory against Beijing over the South China Sea issue. Von der Leyen met with President Marcos at Malacanang yesterday morning. It was the first ever visit of an EC president to the Philippines. Her visit ends today. The two leaders met during the EU-ASEAN Commemorative Summit in Brussels, Belgium in December of 2022. In a speech following her bilateral meeting with Marcos, von der Leyen said the EU has been very supportive of a free and open Indo-Pacific because an Indo-Pacific free of the threats of coercion is key to all our stability, to our peace, and to the prosperity of our people, she said. The European Union underlines that the 2016 award of the arbitral tribunal to the South China Sea is legally binding and that it provides the basis for peacefully resolving disputes between the parties, von der Leyen said. China continues to ignore the July 12, 2016 ruling of the Hague-based Permanent Court of Arbitration, which affirmed the Philippines' exclusive economic zone in the West Philippine Sea and nullified Beijing's claims over almost the entire South China Sea. We are ready to strengthen the cooperation with the Philippines on maritime security in the region by sharing information, conducting threat assessment, and building the capacity of your National Coast Watch Center and your Coast Guard, von der Leyen said. She said security cooperation is imperative as the global geopolitical landscape has become volatile and more threatening. She said authoritarian leaders have shown readiness to act on their threats, citing Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which she said shakes the foundation of the international order. It is in violation of the UN Charter and the fundamental principles of international law, such as territorial integrity and sovereignty. And this is why Europe supports Ukraine's brave fight against the aggressor, because the illegal use of force cannot be tolerated, not in Ukraine, not in the Indo-Pacific, she said. Von der Leyen noted that security in Europe and in the Indo-Pacific is indivisible. Challenges to the rules-based order in our interconnected world affect all of us. Our societies pay through high energy bills, through higher food costs. This is why we are concerned about the rising tensions in the Indo-Pacific, she said. Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri earlier agreed on Senator Alan Peter Cayetano's proposal to hold a caucus to discuss a resolution offered by Senator Risa Hontiveros, urging the government to call out Beijing's aggression in the West Philippine Sea before the United Nations General Assembly. Marcos, in an interview with Philippine media in Kuala Lumpur on July 27, however, appeared not inclined to bring the West Philippine Sea issue before the UNGA. I mean, of course, the Senator Hontiveros is free to file whatever resolutions she wants, but I do not know how that would translate to any action that will reach the United Nations General Assembly, Marcos said. The Philippines, under the administration of Marcos, has filed a total of 97 diplomatic protests against China's presence and activities in the West Philippine Sea, including 30 lodged this year, the Department of Foreign Affairs said. Since Marcos assumed office, the Philippines has filed 67 notes verbale and 30 diplomatic notes. Moving on to our top story, senators drafting new resolution on Chinese intrusions in West Philippine Sea. Report by Cecil Suerte Felipe to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. Oy, good morning, Grace. Thank you for joining me this morning. Shout out po sa ating mga members and officers ng Aslam ng Pag-asa Tarlac. Senators are drafting a resolution condemning China's provocative actions in the West Philippine Sea and providing the Executive Department several options to address the matter. We have a new resolution being drafted. The gist of the resolution is, of course, to condemn their Chinese entry. We will show the dates and days when they entered our country and their continuous harassment of our coast guards, navy, and fishermen. And the second course there is that we are urging the government to do something. They should do something. Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri said over the weekend. An earlier Senate resolution filed by Senator Risa Hontiveros called on the Marcos administration to raise Beijing's harassment in the Philippine waters before the United Nations General Assembly. Senators held an executive session or closed-door meeting with security officials of the executive department last night to discuss the Senate stand on Hontiveros urging the administration to turn to the UNGA for help against Beijing. Majority Leader Joel Villanueva sent a photo to reporters showing senators at the caucus yesterday. With the senators were Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo, National Security Advisor Eduardo Año, and Armed Forces Chief of Staff General Romeo Bronner. Senator Alan Peter Cayetano said Marcos may tap former President Rodrigo Duterte for bilateral talks with Beijing or for back-channeling initiatives instead of raising the issue with the UN. But Cayetano clarified he was not making any recommendation to the palace but was just merely airing a possible strategy to resolve the dispute with China. President Duterte is the best representative of the country because of his relationship with Chinese President Xi Jinping, Cayetano said. He reiterated his opposition to Ontiveros' resolution. That's not Russian. The Senate can't just say we're angry, hot-headed. It's the president who should decide. He's the chief architect, and we can't preempt him. That is undue pressure. Let's not burn the house down, he said. President Marcos earlier said Ontiveros is free to file whatever resolution she wants, but I do not know how that will translate to any action that will reach the UNGA. The United Nations entertains governments, not parts of government. Cayetano noted that the public should not be led into believing that seeking UNGA's help would immediately solve the problem or draw international support for the Philippines. We are not supposed to give people false hopes. Of course, other countries also think about the impact on them if it means antagonizing China by voting in our favor in UN, he said. He expressed concern that raising the WPS issue with the UN will hurt the Philippine economy because we have many trade agreements with China. He said it would be better to let bilateral talks with China to proceed or let the discussion go through ASEAN to ensure that our countrymen can fish in the West Philippine Sea. It is easy to stand there and curse the Chinese and become popular, but woe to the fishermen who cannot fish, he said. Hontiveros, for her part, said she's willing to accept amendments, but the resolution should still urge the executive to exhaust all diplomatic means at our disposal, specifically bringing the issue to a larger international body, including the UNGA. It should be clear that some action has to be taken. We should not yield to China's threats and intimidation. Why are we even now afraid to fight when we have so many allies? Hontiveros explained. Good morning po, Mavic Basiao. Moving on to our global top story. UAE to set up anti-money laundering bodies and amid scrutiny. Report by Agence France Presse to the Philippine Star. Dubai, United Arab Emirates. The UAE announced plans on Sunday to establish judicial bodies to prosecute money laundering and financial crime following increased monitoring by a global watchdog dedicated to battling illicit cash flows. The official WAM news agency reported that the United Arab Emirates has approved a proposal to establish federal prosecution entities specialized in economic crimes and money laundering. It said the move represents a first step towards investigating and cracking down on shady financial transactions. The proposal calls for the creation of prosecution offices specialized in illicit finance. It comes more than a year after the Paris-based Financial Action Task Force added the UAE to a grey list of nations subject to greater oversight because of concerns over illicit finance. The FATF listing in March 2022 came as a blow to UAE's reputation as a major financial and business hub. The watchdog has since upheld this decision, but the June report noted improved efforts in the UAE to tackle shortcomings. The step announced on Sunday aims to enhance the confidence of international investors in the UAE's business environment and encourage them to bring their businesses to the UAE, the WAM said. The project's significance lies in its role in protecting the national economy and reducing the impact of economic and financial crimes, it added. The resource-rich UAE has become a nexus connecting the Middle East, Europe, Central Asia, and Asia. Dubai has the world's busiest airport in terms of international passenger traffic and also one of the busiest seaports. While the desert country has successfully diversified its economy rather than relying on oil, experts and international organizations have long criticized the failure to crack down on suspicious financial transactions. Said senior U.S. officials visited earlier this year for talks with UAE authorities, including the central bank, on the evasion of sanctions imposed on Russia and Iran, as well as money laundering. Moving on to our regional stories, LRT fares up starting August 2. Report by Gio Ong and Elijah Feliz Rosales to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. Beginning tomorrow, the light rail transit lines 1 and 2 will increase fares, with commuters having to pay an additional 5 peso for an end-to-end trip. We are determined to give people back their time through efficient transport and to put more value to every single peso that passengers spend for every LRT one ride. Light Rail Manila Corp Chief Operating Officer Rolando Paulino III said. The LRMC, operator of LRT1, said proceeds from the fare adjustment would be used to enhance passenger experience. Paulina said the firm had completed several projects from increasing the number of trains to renovating and upgrading the LRT1 stations. The Light Rail Transit Authority, operator of the LRT2, said proceeds from the fare hike would be allocated for the improvement of rail facilities and services. LRT1 commuters using stored value cards or SVCs will pay a minimum fare of 14 peso and a maximum fare of 35 pesos from 12 and 30 respectively. Passengers buying single journey tickets will shell out a minimum of 15 peso and a maximum of 35 for their train rides. SJTs cost only 12 peso to 30 peso prior to the fare hike. LRT2 commuters using SBCs will be charged a minimum fare of 14 peso and maximum fare of 33 from 12 and 28 respectively. SJTs will be kept at the base rate of 15 peso but will be raised to 35 peso from 30 pesos for end-to-end trips. The LRTA said a 20% discount remains for persons with disabilities, senior citizens, and students. It has been 8 years since train rates have increased according to the LRTA. The Department of Transportation approved the fare increases for LRT1 and LRT2 in April, but President Marcos gave his go signal only in June due to inflation concerns. The LRMC is expanding the LRT1 all the way to Cavite. The project was initially estimated to cost 64.92 billion peso, but the company spent an additional 4 billion peso due to construction delays caused by pandemic restrictions. Good news for our Metro Manila residents. EGA improves Sangat's water level. Report by Vera Cariaso to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. The water level in Angat Dam in Bulacan has risen to 195.05 meters due to rains brought by Super Typhoon Egay and the monsoon, which is being enhanced by Typhoon Falcon, according to the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration. Pagasa said that as of 6 a.m. yesterday, the dam's water level has increased by 1.21 meters from its previous level of 193.84 meters. The water elevation is still 14.95 meters below Angat's normal high level of 210 meters, state weather forecasters said. In a text message to the Star, Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System Deputy Administrator Jose Dorado Jr. said the MWSS is hopeful that Angat's water level would reach the maximum level before year end. This is a good development. Based on our protocol, we target to reach 212 meters at the end of the year, Dorado said. Pagkasa Deputy Administrator Nathaniel Servando said at least 1 to 2 more strong typhoons are needed to ensure that Angat would achieve its maximum capacity level. Angat supplies more than 90% of Metro Manila's potable water needs and irrigates 25,000 hectares of farmlands in Bulacan and Pampanga. With the improvement of the water level in Angat as well as in Ipoda, the Maynilad Water Services Inc. suspended its water interruption scheme. On July 12, Maynilad started implementing daily water cutoffs of 9 to 11 hours in Caloocan, Malabon, Manila, Valenzuela, Navotas, and Quezon City, after the National Water Resources Board reduced the water allocation of the water concessionaire by 2 cubic meters. The water allocation cut for Maynilad and Manila Water was due to Angat's failing water level, which had dropped to 180 cubic meters at the time. Aside from Angat, the water level in other dams in the country such as Magat in Isabela, Caliraya in Laguna, San Roque in Pangasinan, and Pampatabangan in Nueva Ecija also increased due to rains spawned by Egay and the monsoon. And topping off our regional stories, Fire hits building partly occupied by Comelec. Report by Mayan J. Malin and the Philippine Star. Ito yung building na laging nasusunog. Manila, Philippines. The Commission on Elections suspended work yesterday after a fire broke out on the 6th floor of the Palacio del Gobernador building in Intramuros, Manila, where the COMELEC is holding offices. COMELEC spokesman John Rex Laudianco said the fire did not affect the preparations for the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections scheduled in October. The fire did not affect the operations of the poll body, Laudianco said in a statement. The COMELEC occupies the 7th and 8th floors as well as parts of the 5th floor and ground floor for the Palacio del Gobernador building. COMELEC Chairman George Garcia said he ordered the suspension of work to allow the Bureau of Fire Protection to conduct probe and assessment of the Bureau of Treasury, which is also located in the building. Work and services at the COMELEC will resume today. Arson probers said the fire broke out on the 6th floor of the Palacio del Gobernador building at around 12:30 p.m. The fire was contained after a few minutes, the PFP said. Authorities said the cause of the fire, which originated in the BTR's cooperative office, is still being investigated. And moving on to our sports. Filipino weightlifting prospect Rosie Ramos sweeps Asian Youth Team. Report by Joey Villar to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. Rosie Ramos sustained the Philippine juggernaut in the Asian Youth and Junior Weightlifting Championships after she swept all 3 gold medals in her events in Delhi, NCR, India. The 19-year-old Ramos was unflappable in the junior women's 49-kilogram class, where she took all the mints available, the snatch, clean, and jerk, and total, where she had 83 kilograms, 99 kilograms, and 182 kilograms respectively. It was made more special as her younger sister, Rose Jean, had her share of a golden moment in the junior 45-kilogram section the day before. The Ramos siblings showing helped hike the country's total to 16 gold on top of 10 silver and 4 bronzes. And the 11-strong contingent isn't even done yet, as 2 more lifters are expected to see action in the final days of the meet in Christian Rodriguez, 71-kilogram class, and Lovely Inan, 67-kilogram class. Asian champion and Southeast Asian Games gold winner Vanessa Sarno was listed in the 71-kilogram, but there's a big possibility she might just withdraw since she just recently checked out from the hospital due to high fever. Depends on how she feels. She may not push through, though, since we have many medals anyway. Sayang, she's a cinch for 3 gold sana, said Samahang Weightlifting ng Pilipinas President Monico Puentevella, referring to Sarno. And that completes our top stories for today, August 1, 2023, Tuesday. And here again is the summary of our stories for today. Marcos government to fully back Palaro athletes development. Philippines, EU to strengthen maritime security ties. Senators drafting new resolution on Chinese intrusions in West Philippine Sea. UAE to set up anti-money laundering bodies amid scrutiny. LRT fares up starting August 2. EGA improves Sangat's water level. Fire hits building partly occupied by Comelec. And finally in sports, Filipina weightlifting prospect Rosie Ramos sweeps Asian youth tip. At dyan po nagtatapos ang ating news reading for today. Bukas po, magkakaroon po tayo ng ating regular programming na Agri-Talakayan. Sana po masamahan niyo po uli kami nila Kuya Eric. At para sa ating napakainit na topic sa Agri-Talakayan, yun po yung mga pag-uusapan natin patungkol po sa mga best practices ng mga magsasaka. No? Meron po kami mga dinalaw ng mga farmers itong mga nakaraang linggo at nakitaan po ng magandang performance sa kanilang mga saka. Yun po yung i-share namin bukas sa inyo ni Kuya Eric at nila. Siyempre naman, hindi po magiging kumpleto ang ating Agri-Talakayan kung wala sila Kape at Capex sa ating mga agricultural experts and scientists. Good morning, Sister Louie Ilagan. Sister Louie, kumusta na lang dyan kay Brother Jay? At sa ating grupo, yung ating ADMA. Magandang umaga po sa kanila. So abangan po niyo bukas yung ating Agri-Talakayan at sa Sabado naman po yung ating Magkasangga sa Buhay. At bago ko po tapusin itong ating news reading, i-share ko lang po sa inyo yung success po nung Sabado. Ito po yung first invitational Magkasangga para sa AITA, Play for a Cause. Marami po mga dumalo ng mga manlalaro mula Maynila, hanggang dito po sa Tarlac, marami pong mga nag-join. Kaya successful po itong event ito. Although meron po mga contingent from Zambales na hindi po nakarating dahil po hindi po possible yung mga kalsada from their place. Kaya sayang po, no? Mas marami pa po sana nakasali sa ating Play for a Cause kung hindi lang bumabagyo ng mga araw na yun. So, pero nice po natin pasalamatan yung pong sumuporta, yung Lay Farm, yung Joe Ford, Good Guy Shooting Range, Hidden Vietnam, at syempre naman po yung Smash Point Sports Center na sumuporta ng bonggang-bongga sa event na ito. At sa ating po mga ibang sponsors, ito po sila. Si Boss Vic Angeles, Attorney Lito Endea Castro, Mayor Nora Modomo of Santa Ignacia, Vice Mayor Aro Mendoza of Tarlac City, Board Member Dennis Go, 2nd District of Tarlac, Board Member Topay de los Reyes, 2nd District of Tarlac, Councilor Vlad Rodriguez, Councilor Ricky Yolaso of Tarlac City, and Councilor Emiladera, Tarlac City. Then we have Sir Julie Sevillano. Maraming salamat po sa mga sponsors na to who made this event possible. Sana po pagpalain pa kayo ng buong may kapal. Kaya tayo po magpapaalam na. Sa mga papasok po, kilos-kilos, baka kayo mali. Time check is already 6:25 a.m.